Hello there. Hi. Thanks for joining Yin Yoga tonight. We're going to do a sequence for the whole body, and we're going to add stretches for the toes, ankles, hips, back, shoulders, chest, lateral stretch for the side of the body as well. So hope you've got maybe a blanket and a cushion, and we're going to start tonight. Hello David. So we're going to start tonight in butterfly. So the butterfly, I need a cushion to sit on, but we're also, if you want to, you can try what we call zipper toes. So if you haven't got any socks on, you kind of thread the toes through, or if the toes won't thread through, which I find quite hard, maybe just try the big toes first of all, so you're getting a stretch for the toes in this zipper, so you're kind of doing the zipper effect with the toes. Or you can thread your fingers through your toes. It's hard to get my fingers through the little toes, so I'll try with the fingers threading. So we're going to do butterfly for 3 minutes. So butterfly obviously stretches out our inner thighs, maybe stretches our back as well. I'll just get my timer on. So I'll sit on my cushion to help elevate my hips, and then I'll start with the feet quite close in and my chest forward, just to do the counter effects of sitting all day, and just to think about my posture, be a bit more yang-like. So it's up to you though. Mainly choose whichever feels best for you, that you know you can hold for about 3 minutes. And then I'm going to thread my fingers through my toes, starting at the small toes, and try and thread through to separate the toes. In the old tradition, the Taoist tradition, they say man with open toes has open heart. So there we go, that's an old saying. So if you like, if you're want to go a bit further, you can bring your elbows out to the side and press your elbows into your calves and try to lower the knees. Again, if you want to have the flat back, you can with the chest forward, or we can have the rounded back where the head comes kind of lower and the chin comes towards the chest. It's up to you. So we're about halfway. So if you want to now, just maybe go a little bit deeper, so come a bit more forward if you want to. Notice how your breathing is in this first posture of the evening. and then we lift up slowly and stretch out both legs, straighten the legs, and then bring the hands behind. So the counter pose here is either puffing our chest up towards the ceiling, looking up towards the ceiling, or for a bit deeper we lift the hips up as well. Couple of nice deep breaths. And slowly come back down. Then add some windshield wipers for our internal and external rotation. So feet apart and knees apart. Knees down to one side, knees to the other. And notice what's happening in the hips, because it's quite intense for some people in the hip area. Internal and external rotation. So the hips are turning in and the hip joints turning out. So if you're unlucky, you won't feel anything, but if you're lucky, you'll be able to notice that the energy's moving around the hips. We're mobilizing the hips. So sometimes these rebound postures that we do are just as good as the yin, if that's possible. Okay, so now we're coming into our toe squat. So we're in toe squat tonight. We're also going to add some chest and shoulder moves. So this is more to take our mind off the stretching the toes. So we come onto all fours and then turn the toes unders, and we want to reach behind for those pesky small toes that want to hide away. So the knees are about hip width apart. So we're going to try and hold for about 3 minutes, and I'll guide you through some shoulder and chest openers, maybe to take your mind off. So if we can, we take our hands back and we take our bottom onto our heels, so quite intense. We definitely know we've got toes here. So to take our mind off, first of all, we can come into eagle arms, so lifting up the elbows, taking our left elbow over our right, seeing if we can swing the hands round, bring the palms together, lift the elbows up, lift the fingers up, maybe taking about 3 breaths. And then loosen from eagle and then go the other way. So this time, elbows up, right elbow over left, swing the fingers around again and lift up, 3 or 4 breaths. And release. And then kind of got too much for my toes, so I'm just going to come forward again, maybe shaking out the toes, and again turning the toes under. So stay on your toes if you want to in the toe squat. Bit much. I'm supposed to do this for about 2 minutes every day, so just this time, if you want to, you can just cross the hands, cross the elbows again and reach behind for the shoulder blades. So notice which elbow's on top, and then stretch out the arms and then bring the other elbow on top, kind of giving yourself a hug. 3 breaths if you can. And release. And come forward. So see if we can sit back on the heels now. And then going for our ankle stretch. So for the ankle stretch, take the hands behind, So it's a nice quad stretch as well. Maybe come onto elbows, maybe lift the knees off the floor. Okay, and then walk back up and come forward again with relief, and then we just try one more. So either the toe squat, which for me feels like I've done enough, or the ankle stretch. It's up to you. So sitting, even just sitting back on your heels, if you try and do this every day, you'll quickly notice improvement and flexibility in the ankle area. The shins are having a nice stretch, the calves, the quads. So go back again if you can on your elbows. You can keep the knees down. If you keep the knees down, it's a deeper stretch for the quads. If you keep the knees together, again, nice deep stretch. If you lift the knees off, more of a stretch for the front of the ankle and the shins. Okay, and lifting up slowly, coming forward. Feel the energy now circulating maybe around the ankles or the knees. So turning the toes under once more, and we'll lift up into the first down dog. So lifting the knees off, bringing the chest through to the thighs, lifting the hips up towards the ceiling, and walking the heels up and down, walking the dog. Feel that stretch in the calves. Bringing the knees back down. So now we'll come into Sphinx for the strengthening of our lower back and the opening of the front of the body. So nice stretch here for the tummy and the chest maybe. Good counter posture for the everyday sitting all day that we do, or running, cycling, driving. So Sphinx is one of my favourite that we should really try this to do every day as well. So if you like, you can close your eyes and focus, bring focus into your breathing. If you find it hard to stay focused on just your breath, you could try counting and working on a 10-second breath. So a 5-second inhale and 5-second exhale. So another minute or so in Sphinx. If you want to, you can do the straight arm, so going into seal for the last 6 or so breaths. So the arms are slightly in front and the arms are straight. So more of a stretch here for the front of the body. Very important to breathe as deeply as you can. slowly releasing out of sphinx or seal into crocodile, just to feel the release. So resting your head on your hands, about 6 deep breaths, maybe taking the hips side to side, wiggling the hips a little bit. Slowly bringing the elbows back to the floor, press into the elbows, lift up really slowly, and then we'll come into wide knee child pose with a twist. So taking the knees as far apart as they'll go, keeping the big toes together, bring the bottom down to the heels, or maybe bring a blanket just underneath your bottom. So here, stretching the fingertips forward and threading your left hand underneath the right arm. So here we're bringing the left shoulder down and the left ear down. You can keep that right fingertips really stretching forward, or you can bring your right hand onto your lower back or onto the top of the left thigh. So just maybe opening the chest a little bit. So we're going to hold here on this side for 3 minutes. Again, focusing on deep breathing. Maybe on this side, notice which parts of the body move on your inhale and release on your exhale. Okay, so coming out slowly, pressing into the right hand and lifting up. And we're going to the other side. So now stretching your left hand forward, bringing the right hand through as far as it'll go, palm facing up of the right hand. Right shoulder comes down, right ear comes down. So those left fingertips can stretch forward, feel the opening in the armpits, or left hand on the lower back, or left hand reaches round for the right, top of the right thigh. Remember to try to stay still, try to focus on your breathing, deep breath. About another 6 breaths. And if your left hand's behind, drawing the left hand forward, press into the left hand, lift up slowly, and coming back to a gentle down dog. Turning the toes under, lifting the knees off, chest through to the thighs, feel that, try and press the hands into the floor, draw the chest right through to the thighs, feel the opening in the shoulders. Then slowly lifting the the hips up, maybe walking the dog, bending one knee, pressing the other heel into the floor. And bringing the knees back down. So we'll get ready for our dragons. We're going to do the various options. So if you need something for a bit of padding for your knee that's on the floor, have that ready. So we'll start from all fours with the left knee resting and the right foot coming forward. So first of all, we'll start in the low flying dragon. So that's where the hands are either side of your right foot. We can, if you want to, draw the left knee back a bit to open the left hip flexors a bit more, your psoas muscles. So the psoas muscles are the deep core muscles that come from your lower back and come round like a band all the way to the front of the thighs, the quad muscles. So we might feel it in the left hip flexor or the right outer hip or the right glute. So staying in low flying dragon for about another 3 or 4 breaths. Coming into the high flying dragon, so hand one at a time, so left hand on the right thigh, keep the hips low if you can, and then right hand on the right thigh. So we can either rest our elbows on or we can rest our hands on, it's up to you. So we'll stay here about a minute as well, so about 6 breaths. Bring our hands either side of the right foot and going into dragon split. So here we take our hips back and come onto the heel of the right foot. Try to keep the chest forward and your shoulders back, so we're not letting ourselves round the back. So a bit more yang this one. If you want to, you can try and draw your right heel away a little bit. So again, holding for about a minute. And that right leg can be bent a little bit or straight, it's up to you. Quite a deep stretch for the hamstrings, maybe the glutes. Moving into the overstepping dragon, so more of a stretch for our calf. So walking that right heel back, and we're kind of pressing into our right heel on the floor, and we're maybe resting our chest on our right thigh. So if you don't feel a stretch in your right calf, walk the right heel back a bit more, but don't let your right heel come off the floor. So mine's coming off the floor slightly, so just easing into that. If you want to, you can use your right fingers or your right thumbs to massage your right calf. Maybe a bit of pressure point, pressing the thumb into more tender bits of the calf. And then the final dragon, walk that heel forward again. And then we'll come into the twisting dragon. So left hand comes just underneath your left shoulder. and we walk the right toes out, maybe the right knee out a little bit, and then we gently ease that right knee out to the side and lift the chest up towards the right hand side. If you want to, you can bring your left elbow down. It's up to you. If you had enough of the being on your right wrist, your left wrist. So press into the right hand now to lift out of dragons, join our right knee back. Ooh. And just stretching out the legs. So taking maybe a foot back at a time, one leg straight, the other leg straight, or if it feels good, coming into a gentle down dog. Bringing the knees back down. So this time, have maybe something soft for your right knee. And we go to dragons on the other side. So left foot forward, first of all, with the low flying dragon. So if you need to, we can turn under the right toes, edge that right leg back a bit. Quite an intense stretch for our right hip flexor here. Into high flying dragon, so hand one at a time onto the left thigh, try and keep your hips low. So you can keep your hands on your thighs, you can bring our chest forward, maybe a little bit of a back bend here, or resting the elbows on that left thigh. Coming into dragon splits, so taking our hips back and the left heel onto the left heel, left leg can be straight or slightly bent, it's up to you. And again, if you want to, we can lift the chest forward, So we've got that flat back. Try not to have too much of a rounded back. So you should feel it in your hamstrings, maybe the calf a little bit. And we'll move into overstepping dragon, so more of a stretch for our calf. So drawing that left heel back, resting our chest on the left thigh. Then we might be able to go a little bit deeper and take that right foot back a little bit more now. And then if you want to get more of a deeper stretch in your left calf, walk the left heel back, keep the left heel down. If you like, massage or use your thumbs to get the pressure points on your left calf. Holding maybe for 10 seconds where it feels maybe a bit tender. Sometimes it's on the inside of the calf quite a lot, or up towards the knee, down towards the Achilles. Notice which points feel more tender. And then our final dragon is the twisting dragon. So walking the left foot forward again, and then left toes out to the side, knee out to the side a little bit, keeping the right hand just underneath the right shoulder, and then gently easing that left knee away. And then if we want to, we can lift up towards the left hand side. We can have our right elbow down, if that feels good. Both elbows down maybe. You can be on the outside of your outer edge of your left foot. And lifting out really slowly. Left knee back. So again, it's always good to come out of dragons. So slowly stretching out one leg, stretching out the other, maybe lifting into your gentle down dog. Bringing the knees back to the mat. So next we're going to do child squat. So to do the squat I need some blocks or blanket or cushion to have my heels on. So we're going to hold the squat for about 2 or 3 minutes. So if you need to stretch out, come into the dangling posture. So I'll just show you squat first of all. So my heels are resting on the cushion and the toes are out slightly, and I try and take my knees apart with my elbows and palms together. So that's the toe squat, great for ankle strength, great for our back, opening the inner thighs. And then if you need to rest, come into dangling with the elbows, hands taking a hold of opposite elbows, crown of the head comes down towards the floor, and we allow gravity to let the elbows come further down. So you can alternate, or you can just stay in one or the other for about 3 minutes or so. Try to keep your chest forward, try not to be too much rounded. So try to keep your chest forward, try not to fall back, just roll up the mat a bit as well. It's my freaky ankles. Okay, but I do like the child squat. So I'll come into dangling a little bit. About another 60 seconds. Try to stay still for the last 60 seconds. And release out slowly, lying down on our mats. And from here, just a counter pose. So really stretching out the legs. Back might feel a bit delicate, so we can hug one knee into the chest. Just hold there. And extend the leg out and hug the opposite knee into the chest. And both knees into the chest, knees side to side. the knees curl up like a small ball. And now we'll move into bananasana for our lateral stretch, so the side of the body. So extending both legs out. So we're going to take our feet over to the right hand side and our shoulders over to the right hand side. We want to keep the left hip down. The left hip, if you go too far, the left hip will come away. So keep your left hip down. Then if you want to, you bring the left ankle over the right or the right ankle over the left, and stretch your arms above your head, taking the fingers over to the right a little bit. And we're holding here for 3 minutes, feeling this stretch up the left hip flexor, the left side of the body, the side ribs, the left armpits, left chest. So if you aren't feeling much of a stretch, you could just try and really stretch your fingers a bit more over to the right hand side, or straighten the arms as much as possible. So we'll come out of bananasana this side. So slowly ease our shoulders and head back to the centre of the mat, and then across the ankles, legs to the centre to release the back. We'll just bend up the knees into the chest, knees side to side. And then we'll change to the opposite side. So now walking the legs over to the left, and again it's up to you. You can have right ankle over left or left over right. Slowly edge our shoulders and our head over to the left. So we want to keep the right hip down this time. Stretch our hands above our head. Take hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Closing the eyes. Feel that stretch up the outside of the right side of the body. And we can ease our way back to the centre and cross the ankles, bring the arms down, bend up the knees, slowly knees into the chest, knees side to side. And then taking the arms out like a T shape, just taking the knees down to the right hand side. Feel the stretch up the left hand side of the body. Look over your left fingertips. 6 deep breaths. And slowly bring the knees back to the centre. And take your knees down to the left. And look over your right fingertips. 6 breaths. Bring the knees to the centre again. Bring the knees into the chest. And moving into our final relaxation. You can have the knees bent up with the knees together and feet apart, or legs out straight with the feet apart and toes coming out to the side, palms facing up, arms slightly away from the body, bringing our chin towards the chest. Closing the eyes, breathing in and out through the nose. Focusing now on the 3-part breath. So as we inhale, feeling the tummy expand, side ribs and chest expand. And the exhale, try to make your breath really, really deep. So feel the chest relief, side ribs, tummy. Notice if there's a pause between the exhale and the inhale. So noticing all of your breath. With each exhale, notice the body relaxing more, the mind relaxing, body is letting go, releasing, becoming heavier. And bring awareness, when you're ready, back to the room. Leave the 3-part breath behind. Gentle movement back to the body. And take a deep breath in and stretch your arms above the head. So nice stretch for the body, point the fingers, point the toes. Breathe out, bring the arms down. If it feels good, bring the knees once again into the chest. Maybe curl up like a ball, bring the head to the knees. And then either rolling up to seated or rolling the knees to one side. Bring yourself up slowly. Thank you. See you soon. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. Bye for now.